The Elgato teleprompter is the best teleprompter I've used since my time at the BBC, and for this channel I found it does the job perfectly. Having spent most of my career in TV, you never broadcast in a studio without one. Don't get me wrong, this device isn't perfect, and in this video I'll explain why the Elgato Prompter is brilliant in one hand and frustrating in the other. And let's face it, its purpose isn't solely to replicate TV production. Its versatility allows gamers to interact with their audience, and it's not big enough to be used in large studios. But there are some of us that find this prompter to be the perfect solution. So with that in mind, let's take a look at the Elgato Prompter. And would you believe, just like that, we're almost a month into 2025. How on earth did that happen? Is it just me, or is life getting quicker and quicker? Anyway, less about that and more about the Elgato Prompter. And I had a comment last year from Paul Watts, and he must have read my mind as he wanted to know what I thought of the Elgato Prompter. And no, he wasn't prompted. Now to the prompter itself. It has a one-way mirror, it has its own built-in screen, which makes it so convenient, mounting points on the bottom for a tripod, and it also has a couple of cold shoes at the top for any accessories you may want to add. At the back there is versatility for different cameras. You can use it with the Elgato Facecam if you wish, with your phone, or the best part of it for me, pretty much any mirrorless camera. And that's because you get these. Now, these step-up rings are a great idea, and depending on the diameter of your lens, you can just screw it on and then hook it up to the back of the prompter and attach it to the lens. And because the prompter is so light, it doesn't really pull on the camera, making it easy to attach and detach if you wish. So, as you can see, the setup is dead easy. Now, because it has its own screen, the prompter just plugs into the USB port into your computer, yet frustratingly, it's not USB-C. And from what I've read, it has to go directly into your computer, not through a hub. It either won't work or can become unstable. So to prevent any issues, it goes straight into my computer via an adapter like this, a USB-C adapter, which is a little annoying as I think most of us use USB-C these days. And it's also recommended that you use the cable that comes with it because there's a lot of data going between the computer and the prompter is also powered by this cable too. Now, the software that comes with it is relatively easy to use, but before we get into the prompter software, in order to mirror the screen so we can read this off the mirror, we have to download DisplayLink. So that will extend the screen for you, and I've used this on a number of occasions with different devices. Now, that's how you can get this to work as, I suppose, an extended monitor. Now to the Elgato Camera Hub software. Now, this program allows you to edit what I see on screen, which for me means the scripts. You can change things like the display brightness, the content you see on the prompter, the appearance of the text, the size, and also the color of the text. How you want the text to scroll constantly or using voice sync, or any overlays on the screen, for example, if you wanted a crosshair so you knew where the center of the lens was. And I'll go into my preferences shortly, but it's easy to create a script. I normally write mine in Pages and then paste it into the Camera Hub software, and we're almost ready to go. And I say almost because I've had to adapt my workflow to fit the limitations of the software. Let me explain. As my time in TV taught me, I like my scripts to be broken down into smaller sections. It makes it easier to read, but it also allows me, the presenter, to be more expressive with my delivery. So you can add breaks into your speech when you want to, just like I'm doing now. Also, there's a desire to split each sentence up so the script doesn't sound monotonous, because you may wish to go in a slightly different direction with your story, and the breaks allow you to create that timing. Because over the years, I've learned to write how I speak, and we don't all speak at one speed without taking a break and then stumble all over our words and then run out of breath. I think you get the picture. But in order to separate our script on the Elgato Prompter, you have to pre-organize everything in your word processor beforehand. You have to remove all of the line spacing to keep the script in all one chapter. because the teleprompter will automatically see a line space as a new chapter, and this will cause problems when scrolling later. Now, this is a problem because you can skip each chapter of your script. If you wanted to end up halfway through, you can, instead of scrolling through. You can select the exact part of your script that you want. And equally, if you want to go back and redo a section, you can. You can just skip back and read it again. Anyway, so this scripting issue, well, it's a bit annoying, and I don't know if something can be done to help this. But when preparing my scripts, I have to bunch all my sections together, eliminating my line breaks, then import them into the prompter, and then separate them again. And I find it a bit of a problem, so Elgato, if you're listening, let's talk. Also, because I'm so close to the prompter, there can be an issue with the eye line, so I've changed my settings to accommodate this. Now, normally in a TV studio environment, the presenter is far away from the camera, so any eye movement across the screen is going to be minimal. But when this close, you're going to spot that I'm reading. So in the software, I've just squeezed the words to fit the width of the lens, and this can be done changing the horizontal margin. I've changed it to about 63%, and this means I can read the script and it looks more natural to you. And I've also changed the color of the text too, as I did have an issue with word bleeding when I was recording my first video with it. Bright white letters on a black jumper wasn't the greatest combo, so I had to change the text color to blue and then record it again. But with those major changes made, we're about ready to start recording videos. When I first bought the prompter, the #1 selling point was the auto-scrolling feature, but like many other bits of voice recognition software, the Elgato version, again, just wasn't ticking the boxes. The auto-scrolling was either going too fast or too slow, and I could never get that timing just right. And for me, the timing needs to be perfect, and that's the reason why I invested in the pedal. And it has 3 pedals, and I've set them up to be left pedal to scroll back, center to return to the start of a chapter, and then hit it again, and it will go to the previous chapter, and so on. And the right pedal will scroll the text on, and I will go as fast or as slow as I want to. These settings can be determined in the Camera Hub app. And the Elgato Stream Deck pedal does the job. It's heavy, seemingly robust, and the pedals are firm, yet responsive. And if I'm replicating those in the TV studios, well, to be honest, this isn't far off. But you can customize these pedals to do pretty much anything you wish using the Elgato Stream Deck software. And with the way I've configured it, well, I can honestly say I'm really pleased. But this thing has been a bit of a game changer for me over the past few months. My productivity has increased, and in the second half of 2024, I was really ramping up my output, and this was despite work being busy at the end of the year. The first video I made with the prompter was the Pocket 3 Vacations video, and since then, I've made 12 videos, including this one. And when I make a video, I want the process to be as simple as possible. Although not 100% perfect, the Elgato Prompter has enabled me to increase my production rate, and that's because the experience is easier and there is less resistance to getting to this point now and presenting the video. Now, my background is in TV and radio, and especially in my radio days, I would read everything off a paper script. So when I did the sports bulletins, I would have to be organised and have everything timed. And in TV, I would do the same, but instead of me reading the sports news, I would help write it, cut the oofs and the sots, but the principle was still the same. So I'm not one of those people who can make a video just off the cuff. I follow the same practices I was taught in TV and radio, so for me, a teleprompter or auto cue is essential. But on YouTube, just like TV, you need to keep eye contact with the viewer, just like I am now. Otherwise, it can be very off-putting. So again, a teleprompter with its one-way mirror is vital in that process. So if you're watching a news bulletin or one of your favourite talk shows, 100% the presenter is using a teleprompter and a pre-written script. And I guess the skill is to make sure it doesn't sound like a script, and I'm probably not the best example of this, but the best presenters make the job look so easy. They're reading a script, but you've no idea. So the discipline of a script is important. It means you can be more confident you're getting the right information out there in the way you intend to. Now, we all know the creator economy is growing all the time, and there's lots of teleprompter options out there. So why choose the Elgato Prompter? Well, I previously used this basic prompter setup from Glide Gear, hooked it up to my iPad, and it did the job. But I was left wanting more. And I was very reliant on whatever prompter app I used to listen to me, and then it would use the auto scrolling. And I could never get it right. It was either going too quick or too slow. But the biggest issue I had was editing my script, or should I say wanting to edit my script, while I was sat in this chair filming the videos. The reality is you never get the script right first time round. There's always little changes that need to be made, so you just need the software in the prompter to allow you to edit the script on the fly, and this was something that was missing. But the main aim for me was to have an experience which gets as close to professional TV production as possible, and for as cheap as possible. And in my research so far, this device has been the best I could find, especially at this price point. Now, I know this prompter has many different use cases. Streamers will use it to communicate with fans or use it as another screen. And for me, I use it as a traditional TV auto cue. And as I round up this video, I have to say it does a really good job, and the combination with the pedal really ticks the boxes. As I said earlier, the auto scrolling features just didn't hit the spot. They may work for you, so don't rule it out, but the pedal offers me the control that I'm after. But is the Elgato Prompter for you? Let me know in the comments, as it's certainly been a game changer for me. Yes, I have a number of gripes about the way I have to adapt my scripts before I paste them into the Camera Hub software. It just adds, well, steps I wish it didn't. Also, little things like the lack of USB-C support. Again, it's an annoyance. But once I found the settings I was happy with, well, I've been more productive than I thought I would be. Once I have the script written, it's a pleasure to get these pieces to camera shot. So unless something else comes out to beat it, and to be honest, I'm open to ideas by the way, this will be the way I deliver my videos for a long time to come. Speak to you soon.